I stopped in May when I decided to run for office. This is the first time I've ever run for office, if that's not obvious. And partly because I'm a big supporter of the arts and partly because I'm allergic to money, I decided from the first issue that our back cover would not be advertising. So every month the back cover was a piece of artwork from a local artist, because I wanted it to be as pretty from the back as it was from the front. And so in a concession to commerce, I did tell advertisers that they could sponsor the back cover, but they could never have an ad there. So Susan's art was on the back, I know at least once, and we worked and we worked very closely with the city and with the people, you know, starting and running the Bailey to promote everything that happened here and highlight the different events. I think that art humanizes people, and I think it's just so important to surround yourself with that and to have it. You don't have to be good at it. You just have to be able to enjoy it. And what's a shame in our schools is, even at high school, right? Whereas we had to take art, whether or not we had any ability to do anything, now you have to test in high school. So you have to already be interested, and those are kind of the kids who I think least need an art class, right?
Exactly.
And it's just a shame that we've done that, because I think if you have a well-rounded education that includes art and music and culture and, you know, math and history and everything else, that's what makes you sort of a citizen.
So true, so true.
If you cannot use your creativity to express things, you're going to have that creativity turned into
Something else.
I agree, because it comes out somewhere.
Yeah.
It's why they teach kids to write out their feelings or to express them on paper.
I taught in Liberty City for 25 years. I just retired, and I can see what's happening now. In Dade County, the principals are allowed to decide whether they want art or not. And so some of them deciding they could spend the money better elsewhere and put the art teacher in the classroom.
That's unfortunate.
And they have like the best art program in the country.
Wow.
And this is what's happening to it. It's falling apart.
That's really too bad.
What
'cause it
makes
is-
the base? What?
Their advanced arts, they always win a lot of prizes and everything in the country. It's the best. They worked on it for many years to get it built up to the way it is. And if you look in news about arts in schools, you'll see Dade County is #1, or was #1. I don't know what it is now.
So there are a lot of people in our city who are doing what they can to make sure that kids get, you know, the art and culture. One of my competitors in this race, actually, Mike Sobel, has sort of appointed himself creative art director at Pompano Beach Elementary, and he and his wife go in and they paint birdhouses with the kids and do all kinds of stuff. I have another friend who started, her interest is music, her son plays cello, and she started the Gold Coast Youth Orchestra several years ago, completely on a shoestring while working a full-time job, and they have, I believe, 2 different orchestras at this point, and the kids rehearse every Saturday and they put on several performances a year, but her whole intent was, let's get these kids exposed to art and music because they don't have it in the classroom. And so I'm always looking for ideas and ways that we can do more of that. You know, it's unfortunate that we have to do that, but in a way you can't sort of, beating your head against the bureaucratic wall, you know, is exhausting. And so sometimes we have to look for other avenues, right? So if the goal is get kids exposed to art and you can't do it in the classroom, I think we all have to look at what else can we do, right? How else can we do that? So if I may ask, anybody here have any ideas about how to do that? How do I bust it in?
One thing that you can do that my army does, because I've been involved, we have an organization where they take a school that does not have art and ask artists to design murals. And some of it is a bit like painting by numbers. I did 1, 2, 3, 4 in one school. And it was very interesting because of the reaction of the children. You know, and then the day that you're going to paint, thing is you have to find a sponsor. I got a sponsor to sponsor the paint. House paint, of course, exterior. And then people, students from university, teachers, all different people came to help paint with the children. It was a tremendous experience. I think that you could see an awakening of what can be done, because one or two of the things were very abstract. The two were realistic. They had the only creative art thing that took place there was they had a school band, you know, with the marching things with the throwing them. And because of the popularity of that with sports, because it was connected,
Yes.
that's the only activity they had. So one of the murals I did was to do with music as well. And one of them was just getting kids to stay still, do a quick sketch of them on the wall, and then they love that, you know. So I think you could start that kind of activity, and I'm sure some of us would volunteer to come and do things.
Yeah, what I saw in Dane County is that they're getting large organizations that are involved. For example, Fairchild Gardens, if you've ever heard it.
Oh, yes.
They have a real tight bond now with Dane County schools and also with FIU. And for example, there's a zine group, and that's when you make artwork like magazines. Well, the way they started was they started in Little Haiti, and they put a zine. It's like it's a copier, like a Xerox copier, in a laundromat, and asked people could come for free and use it.
Wow.
So if you talk to different organizations, like business organizations, and get them all excited, then I think that's because they have the money and they have the way of advertising, that as long as you can get a subject matter that's happy with them and happy with the art teacher, then that's a big plus there. And you might want to study Dade County and see the way they do it.
And see what has been successful.
And even call
replicate
Dade
that,
County schools. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful.
Maybe there's some way to get the artists together with the Pompano Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Art
Or the
teachers.
Rotary,
Or
which
the
are big
Rotary,
supporters of the
yes,
school, or any
yes.
one of the
And
service
see if we
organizations.
could get interest in something.
That would be, I know the Rotary's been interested. I've been speaking to some of their officers about how we can work with the school. And the principal, Steve Larson, he's only been at Pompano Beach Elementary for a year. But he's sort of a man on fire about all of this and improving the school. And, you know, Lila Moavero and Ray is a sensei. I'm going to get the words wrong, but he teaches martial arts and had his own studio and whatnot. And they have, again, completely out of their own pockets and time, started a program after school there that they've got 30 kids who are taking the martial arts lessons from them. And what an amazing thing to do, right? So if each of us do something that allows us to use our particular talents, we can collectively make a big difference.
Contact the Broward County Art Teachers Organization.
Yeah.
Because teachers are always doing extra giving and at least giving ideas to you. And a lot of those organizations, they have monthly meetings, which you might want to call Broward County School District System, whatever the building is, and connect with them right there.
Yeah, thank you so
Because
much.
that's always something that they're looking for, is different avenues to do things with the kids. And so that would, they'd probably give you a lot of ideas.
Yes, no, thank you very much. And Susan, I'm so sorry that I just crossed it into your meeting. I hijacked this out for our artists association, I'm sorry. No, I would not, thank you.
No?
No, thank you.